Does that say erect for Ryan's mom? What?
Dude.
What?
No, what's to whatever like the most popular programming language is. Just be proficient at that, and then just
Shut up.
Shut the fuck up, Ryan.
give myself a couple NFT.
What would it take for our government to fall and turn into a dictatorship? And do you think it could happen in our lifetime?
Oh my god!
Surprisingly low.
Right?
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Take of the Day podcast with your host Ryan,
Alex.
And Josh.
and we have our special guest Alex,
Hello.
number 2.
Alex number 2.
Alex number
I
2.
don't know. I think Alex overtakes me sometimes.
Damn.
So, hang on. So, real quick to get that out there, Rose said she was the best teacher of the two.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Sure.
Okay.
She could have it.
Yeah.
Wow. Giving up so quickly. I forgot about that completely a little bit.
Yeah. I just thought it was funny.
Way to bring back the bit, buddy. So
Yeah.
that
She
was
could
an
ask.
episode.
She said what?
She could bask. She couldn't take the win.
I mean, it was,
Yeah. Is it really a
no,
win?
I mean, it's a tough life, man.
Dude,
It's
yeah. Teaching, I
not
can't
for me.
imagine it.
Not for me.
No.
Took me to dark places. I did not think a profession.
Is that
could
because you were an
ruin
inner
your
city
life.
teacher?
What?
Is that because you were an inner city teacher?
My
Yeah.
experience was as a teacher was not positive. Like, yeah, I leave it at that. She could win. She could say that she was a better teacher because she probably is. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to her.
On the basis of endurance. Congrats.
Yeah.
Wow.
2 years felt like 10 years. Holy shit. Oh my
That's
God.
rough.
Oh, I kind of wish we had thought about this bit beforehand. Just have you wander in with like a cane and a beard.
Yeah, dude, you don't look a day under 30.
It's still older than I am. I could still be 29.
I said under.
It's incredible. A day under 30?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant 30 and under.
A day. Oh, I thought it said a day
Yeah.
over 30. I didn't quite catch it at all.
Moral of the story: Ryan tries to make jokes. Occasionally, they're okay.
I thought it was
and then
funny.
we choose not to.
Man.
Hi everyone. How we
Yeah.
doing this week?
Hi.
Everyone having
Dude, I'm doing
fun?
fine.
Yeah.
You know,
I
chilling.
was a little stressed out earlier today, but
Chilling.
I'm better.
What had you stressed out, buddy?
So I had to make sure
Too
that
much built up?
shut the fuck up. I had to make sure that this shit was all set up, which it was not. And setting up, I was like, I don't think I can really realistically have this all set up without it being a goddamn mess like it is anyways. So
I mean, yeah, we kind of have
It
the
is what it
sea
is.
of cable occasionally.
yeah,
It's
a
functional.
It is a
It's not
pile.
quite pretty below this line for our visual listeners.
It's better than usual when we're like at your place and recording or like at the table and there's just a massive wires. They can't see it at this view, so that's fine. I also was trying to make sure that I was home in time for Ryan to come by so we could finish painting his room because
Oh, yeah.
we're finally getting him moved in soon this
Yes.
week or this end of the month.
By the
no,
end of
this
the month.
week. Get him in.
Fuck that.
I'm
Okay.
I'm at least getting some stuff in. So
Yeah. What else? Oh, I had I am waiting for an email to talk with an AV guy that Alex's dad has got me in contact with, and I want to make sure that I either have the day off from work or I get out of work early so I can make it down there because I like to work if I can, just so I can get those hours in and the money. Otherwise, I haven't that's it. I mean,
Hoping that goes well for you,
I do
buddy.
for real. I hope.
I hope so
happens.
because that'd be fantastic, and I think it'd be a very. One, I think it'd be very
Son
just
of a bitch, dude.
what.
It's
cat?
just so loud.
Yeah, there's Austin, our roommate. He has 2 cats, and one of them is currently playing with one of their toys, and it's very loud.
So if
Can
you
we move
hear
that
a
toy?
jingle jingle.
No, because there's another one that also is very loud. Hi, yeah, you. I'm talking to you. I think that's Yumi. I'm talking to you, cat.
Yeah, was our fans talking to us?
No. Oh, yeah. For people who are not watching on Twitch, we're streaming live again. So if you want to watch this stuff live, follow us and watch us on twitch.tv at Take of the Day Podcast. There's that
Woo.
plug for the episode.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this.
You get such fun perks like saying Ryan sucks ass at Smash Bros. It's great.
Yeah, you get to watch us play video games and laugh at us for being
know
shit at some of them.
Hey, you know what? I tried.
I mean, that was like in general, not just a diss to you.
Oh yeah, sure.
I think next time we should play Overcook again and have 4 people play.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. I agree
Yeah,
with that
I
one.
want Ryan to be reduced into a little puddle of anxiety.
I'm gonna be honest.
wasn't-
God
was just
damn
mad.
it! I just need onions.
I kind of want Ash to come up and play that because I think it'd be hilarious to have her play with the way Ryan gets that game.
I think it would be an interesting combination
Yeah.
because Overcooked, I feel, is more or less a representation of how her work is.
Yeah.
Why did no one clean up the dishes?
Right.
Just for the
boys.
people that
Whoa,
don't know.
Whoa, calm down there.
What?
I'm sorry. Does that say erect for Ryan's mom? What?
Dude.
What interesting hashtags going on?
No, that's his Twitch username.
Dude, that's funny.
Oh. Nice to
I read
have
that
you.
right.
I bet that's.
That's so funny. What'd they say?
They said gay boys.
Damn, that's funny.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I'm really hoping that this works out for me with the AV stuff because it'd be such a fucking huge jump for me with this shit.
But
Because
Josh, will you be able to find it within your heart to feel
yes,
that you can progress past the screen
Yes.
cleaning and the
yes,
truck
100%,
unloading?
yes.
But what about the joy you get when a customer comes and says, "I need this thing that we don't have," and I've told you we don't have?
I can easily get over that.
Dude, you're gonna tell me you're gonna give up on the discounts you get at Ace Hardware?
Yes,
Okay.
I honestly wouldn't doubt if if they gave it to me for a little bit, even after I quit, just because like I was such a good employee. There's a
How
cat
does that
in a
work?
bag
Do
over
you just
there.
like go and like flash like your ID at checkout or something? Or
I mean, I only get it at my own. I've never been to another Ace Hardware since I've started working there.
We should give that a go for
you
the one
haven't
that's
cheated
surrounded by
on yours
his.
chain? Damn.
Wait, what?
We should give it a go when we're by the one by his.
Oh, I don't really bother because I'm like I don't really care.
Dude,
I feel like
saving money, you don't care about saving
I mean
money?
I get coupons from Ace as it is.
coupons.
So. What?
Coupons.
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 Coupons,
Yeah.
whatever.
Coupons.
We're not doing
Coupons, yeah.
this again, god damn it.
I'm just saying, we did not approach coupons yet, and I feel we need to advance them to the territory.
What's the worst accent?
Oh my
What's
God.
the worst accent? Like the most annoying one, right?
Ooh. I have
The
a
French.
personal distaste towards Appalachian English because it has the audacity to claim to be English, but it is mostly unknowledgeable for
Isn't
any
that
other
just
speakers of
mumbling?
it.
Aren't they just mumbling?
Pretty much.
Like a really deep drawl, like
It's one of those things of it's a very confident sounding accent, but dear God, do I not make out anything? But since it has that confidence, it feels like it's on me for fucking up and not understanding what's being said, and not them talking in a funky ass language.
I would have to go with either like Indian or especially if it's like English speaking and it has an Indian accent or like I don't know if I think that's probably the most annoying for me because I deal with that on a regular basis and I feel terrible when I can't understand what they're asking for at work and shit. Like I would put that above.
Oh, I
like,
want to change my answer. Anything that's over the phone on a tech support line, whatever
Oh, yeah.
accent
That
that
sucks,
somehow
too.
transforms into.
because there's
Because I've
some.
spoken to a proper ass Mark from Ohio that was just the whitest man you've ever seen. But when calling up for support, suddenly I cannot make out a single goddamn word he has said
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah, like I feel terrible when people come in with a really heavy accent, no matter like where they're from, like a foreign accent. I'm like, I feel terrible. I can't understand what you're asking for.
I gotta wonder what it would be like to be the heavily accented person, but that would
Yeah.
require I learn a different language.
Right.
And apparently I can't be asked.
Yeah, all these people know like multiple languages, and I just know one.
Yeah, it's like, no, fuck y'all, American,
Yeah.
the one.
America.
Forget the fact that most of the rest of the world is bilingual, and using the fucking usage of bi meaning multiple, not two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you do it, cat, you little shithead.
Did you
Up
really
he
lean
goes.
towards the mic to say yeah?
Yeah.
What was the
Oh,
point?
No, I was gonna say for like a language I deal with on the daily, Indian for sure is hard to.
It's
It's,
surprising
it's like
how many like there's that many like Indian accent people who live in this area.
It's just that they're
weird.
so smooth with it, and
Yeah.
that I can't like the fact that I can't process it. That I'm not used, but I'm just not used to the
I feel like their
the tone
language
and-
comes from a different spot.
Yeah.
So like I don't. Is
I
it
feel like
Hindi?
it's almost. I feels like it's
Where it comes, I feel like it comes up actually deep in the like the nose almost. Where when they speak English, it's a different sound. Like they speak because you speak the
Yeah.
way you would speak in your language, so it makes it harder to understand English. Which, but I also don't know. I don't know like if you're an English speaker trying to speak Indian or Hindi. Was that like? What do we sound like to them? That always makes me feel weird
Yeah.
and very uncomfortable
Yeah.
when I try to speak another
Well,
language.
I took an
What do I
applied
sound
language
like?
studies class at one point, and it was neat just because it was a case of there are some languages that use different parts of like the vocal tract muscles.
Yeah.
Huh.
So you get much stronger muscles depending on what language you speak. I forget what language it is, but one of the muscles that is used, we only engage it when we like cough or like vomit. That noise in like the back of your throat, and, like the bass.
Huh.
But that's
weird.
like a common staple of like their like normal vernacular.
It's
April
almost
said
like
hi.
it's almost like
Wait,
the huh.
Who is
April
that?
said hi.
Oh, that's April. Oh,
It's almost like
Oh.
the
Hey,
like the
bro.
oh, okay.
it's almost like the Mongolians because they use their like when they sing they use that like the back of their throat. Yeah, they use it like they can. I forget what it is called, but
Oh,
Wait,
it's a
our-
modulation.
Our
of,
accents are
something.
trash. So wait, I don't know if I'm.
Yeah,
missing
we're
something.
4 white dudes. Of course, we're qualified to talk about accents.
Our accents are trash so much, lol. We do not have a good accent. We sound flat and nasally.
Correct.
I feel like there's worse though. I feel like you can.
The
go
French exists. This
Yeah.
is known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, the French just sound so pretentious.
they just sound like they're hot. They're
They're
hawking up all the time. Like, all right, dude.
Calm down.
There's national
Their
pride
words are
in that.
so unnecessarily twisted. Like you have to use so much in voice. You're like, like, and it's like I'm like rolling
We
the
wrote
word
this
around
language.
in my
There are
mouth.
14 vowels in this word. You will speak none of them.
Yeah.
Italian would be cool.
Yeah, Italian sounds cool. I mean,
The language of love, you know.
I'm upset by all the languages that use like trills and like rolled R's because I cannot do them to save my life.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be kind of cool to know, like Chinese.
Yeah.
I don't know. To be able to read it, especially.
There's
You think about this. Think about all the literature you don't know in the English language, right? Like that you've never heard of or you've never discovered.
Mm-hmm.
Think about all the other languages we don't know how to speak or read, and all
Yeah.
the books and like ideas that are hidden from us because of the language barrier.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how many perspectives am I missing out on because I simply can't speak the language?
Infinite.
We read a.
We look at everyone else's history, and it's just Americans are just masochists. Like they just tortured and brutalized everyone.
I mean, like the common thing that you'll
Jesus
find is like
Christ.
a lot of
always that
dumb
bad every
things
time.
that just like named during like colonialism and that kind of thing. So it's like, you there, local speaker, what's the name of that river? And it's like Avon. It's like that was the word for river. So you have just a bunch of river just
Yeah.
throughout a bunch of places
Yeah.
in like Europe and all these other places.
Okay. Chat brought up a good point. Yes, I kind of agree that it is never too late to learn another language. However, I still feel like I would struggle so much with that. Like,
Oh,
It depends on the
absolutely.
language.
I even like taking Spanish. I struggle with that for taking like the semester I took in college, and
Well, there's two parts to it. There's learning the language and then applying the language.
yeah,
I know people that like kicked ass at like Spanish through like all of schooling.
Oh, I know, yeah.
But
Same.
unless you're actively like practicing or being one of those douchebags that would go through the hallways and just do it as like an
Yeah.
uppity thing, the chances of you retaining that knowledge is usually very low.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the things where like you have to apply it to like your everyday thing, which I feel like does your dad know any kind of Chinese? Because I know he like when we were at your place last time, he made a comment. They were talking about
We've
how
got
the fact
China
that,
on
yeah,
the line.
Yeah, like does he know
been
any?
around enough to know like some common phrases, but
Okay.
usually it is a case of either they know stuff or they work with a translator.
Okay, that's why I wasn't sure.
Mhm.
I feel like also like technology is at the point where like you could go anywhere in the world and if as long as you have like your phone with you or something, you could probably easily like translate shit and get around.
Yeah, it's a case of Google has like the shit where you can like just hold up your phone and it'll, like translate street
Yeah.
signs and stuff.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
That's a fairly well developed technology for a couple
Yeah.
years now.
You're killing people's jobs.
Good. Evolve.
Learning a language is hard. You have to build the base. Writing, reading, listening, and actually speaking the language comes last. Yeah, that's
Indeed.
true.
That's why the go-to method is
Totally good.
drop some bastard in the middle of it and tell them to survive.
Yeah.
I still think you push your brain in a different way when you're learning a language.
Oh,
that you wouldn't
absolutely.
In any
If
other
you've
way.
ever seen like babies live in a multi-language household, it's fascinating because they will fluently flip between it
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they have not yet recognized that there are actually differences in the language.
Yeah.
They're just learning it all as one accumulated thing
Mhm.
as their brains are forming the neurons.
I just can't imagine how would that expand your brain, right? Like think about what having a larger vocabulary does for you. You're able to more accurately communicate, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if you could communicate in 5 different languages extremely accurately? Like what kind of connections could you make? Like how would that influence the way that you think about the world and how other people struggle to communicate in one language? I don't know.
How many languages could someone could you teach a child to like pick up? Could you just teach them like 20 or something
Well,
like
it would
that?
depend on what you could do.
You would have to have a very mixed
Well, you have-
community.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if it's
Yeah.
just like
And
big
you
old
ha-
commune?
You'd have to see a lot of people in a lot of different circumstances for them to learn all those different languages. So
You get a commune with like each kind of race.
I think the thing I learned was
What?
race or
realistically.
nationality.
you
yes,
could get
that's
up
yes,
to-
yes.
Okay.
I know I've read a study of this because they have tested it. I think children, based on the communities that are like available or that they studied, I think 4 or 5 was the ones they could comfortably get, and that is if they stayed in the community in which there was enough language present for that to be applicable. But more often than not, it was usually communities were restricted to like 3 or 4 at max.
Yeah, I feel like it would be very time consuming to do more than like 3 languages. Anything more than 3.
Yeah,
I
you
feel
kind of
like
have
is
to have like the
difficult.
baby on like a carousel, just
Yeah.
going through languages of the world museum kind of
You'd
deal.
have to like have a kid live with a different family every day, and like just cycle through them every day of the week.
What would be the languages you would want to learn, like to know?
Spanish,
Well, I mean, if you could learn like, let's say like 3, what would you want to know?
Macedonian,
That would be like useful. I mean, like to you at least.
so not English.
Unfortunately, the Macedonians no longer control a third of the Eurasian landmass.
Mandarin, Spanish, and Italian. I think those are all pretty. It's between Germany and Italian. Oh, sorry, German and
God.
Italian.
I'd say like Russian. Mandarin sounds really good, but I don't want to say the same thing as Ryan. So Japanese, yeah, whatever. One of the East Asian ones.
I want to learn Dutch just to surprise my fellow white people at every
Get clogs.
Also, the Dutch are the nicest people. Why are they always so nice? Like every Dutch
Fuck the
person I've
Dutch.
met has been so like open and personable. Like
I definitely
Yep.
think I would want to know Spanish better, just because that's such a common thing, especially here in the U.S. now. I think Japanese would be useful, but I also really want to visit there, so that would be helpful for me.
I don't want to have to use the subtitles anymore.
Japanese
That
would
would
be
be cool.
fun, but there is an issue there of just isolationism
Yeah.
to the point where you kind of have a general disdain towards Western people, and I can understand completely why. Just based off like stories my cousin has told when he went over to visit while he was like stationed over there. Like,
What?
so my cousin Trevor played in the naval band. So they got stationed over in, I think it was Okinawa for a bit. Well, my cousin Matt went over to visit him, and he's a big, like, beer dude, kind of party animal. And that is a very interesting mindset to go in, considering my cousin is about, like, 6'3", 6'2". So just big, drunk American, basically, running through the streets. I think he was responsible for the first bike theft in that precinct in the last, like, 75 years.
Oh, that's actually a not a bad point, chat. So they brought up, it gets confusing for a child
If they
living.
brought up French, I
No.
don't respect their opinion.
It gets confusing for a child living in a house with two languages. Sometimes children who live in a bilingual household won't speak until later around kindergarten because they can't tell which language to speak and when.
Yeah, because they will flip between the two because they don't
Yeah,
know which one belongs to which family.
I think that would be a little struggle once they got into like your primary school and stuff like that, especially like if they go into that and they're not like homeschooled or something, because that would suck to go into.
It's always going to be a case of if you have more samples to draw from,
Yeah.
or if you're only dealing with good old mama and papa.
Yeah, that would just suck. I feel like that would suck to like throw them into any kind of social situation of like, here's these other people who don't know what they speak yet, and so you kind of like are just quiet and reserved until they speak and you hear what they're speaking. That would kind of suck. I kind of agree. I don't think I could see teaching more than two languages.
Yeah, that's why the dedicated community was always the hard part in the studying.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing if it's like, oh, my brother speaks a little French, this cousin speaks Portuguese, and we teach it to the baby. And it's like, sure, they could probably pick it up because scary little sponge brain child. But
You
actually
wouldn't
having
be
to
able to-
apply it requires you to have the community in which you can base and like fully like form that foundation.
Immerse yourself.
I changed my answer.
At least kids are sponges for knowledge and will adapt to their environment more quickly.
Indeed.
I
Yeah.
changed my answer
What?
from Italian.
To Cantonese.
No, what's what to whatever like the most popular programming language is. Just be proficient at that, and then just
Shut up.
Shut the fuck up,
What?
Ryan.
give myself a couple NFTs and.
Oh,
Okay,
there you
I
go,
meant to-
buddy. I'm proficient in C++. That's the language I want
Okay.
to learn.
I meant to bring this up earlier. Did you know, Ryan, that Muse is releasing their new album as an NFT album?
What the fuck does
Yeah.
that mean?
I don't quite know. It's weird.
That I'm allowed to just steal it and go, this is mine now because I paid some dude
Well,
like 27
Apparently,
cents?
it's also like the first album to be.
It's the first of its kind.
Well, it's supposed to be like the first
No.
album
And
on like
last
a
was good.
charts kind of thing, like that's on the blockchain or something. I don't know. I read an article
Why
about it. And I'm
is
like,
that a
this
good
is so
thing?
weird. I don't know. But to be fair, I could see Muse doing that. I'm not surprised by it, but a lot of people are kind of pissed about it.
Dude, I'm having an old man moment of how are you going to play your damn music if it's an NFT
I mean-
when there's the good old disc track? I can't put them newfangled CDs in
Well,
it.
you get
It
like
doesn't
you
fit.
get you supposedly get like a lossless quality file of like all the tracks and whatnot. Which honestly, I'm like, why the fuck would you spend the money on an NFT version when just either go buy it on something else or listen to it on like Tidal or whatever other streaming service that use like the high quality lossless quality files, shit like that. I don't. It's weird. I think you get other shit too, but I just as a whole, I'm like,
I
I
mean, if
don't
they're using
like
it as
it.
a method of just like a higher quality like album release, sure, fine. But
I still don't
it
agree with
still
it.
sounds so dumb on
It
this.
is.
Do you guys think music is getting better or worse
As a whole, I think
as a whole? Do you guys think
God.
music? And when I say better, I mean it seems as though
I feel like that's
sorry.
just a matter of opinion.
yeah.
Well,
What do we define as better?
I
Better
think we are
being
getting to the point where we
deeper.
are forgetting the shittier music of our childhood.
Well, I agree. There was a lot of shitty music in our childhood, but it's just interesting that as you rewind time, songs seem to have more meaning.
Oh,
Like there seems to be higher goals or standards for the songs that are released. Like
it also depends on the artist and genre. Today's pop music, I fucking despise. But at the same time, I've never been a huge pop music fan. But like, I would say I could tolerate the like 70s, maybe 80s. I'm not a huge fan of that genre of like that age.
Yeah, because I definitely feel it is a case of you had a bit more of a cultivated experience as you go back and back, because the only tracks that would have survived are those that were published or had someone of influence behind them making sure that they stayed around.
Yeah.
Whereas in today's thing, I have a phone that connects to the internet. I can scream into it, and I can ask someone to pay 99 cents for it.
Yeah.
And that is just something I have, that asshole has. So we are just drowned out in just a massive nonsense sea of different audio.
I think SoundCloud
So you
is
don't
a huge,
have as much of like the trial and error or just general restriction of what kind of music is allowed to be.
so, are you
out.
saying that music is getting worse?
I'm saying there's
Because-
better music. There's also just more shitty music.
So does
Yeah.
that aggregate though? Like, does that mean that the number of shitty songs now outweighs the number of good songs? I guess when I like, even songs I don't like that are old, like if you're going back to like the 50s, 60s, 70s, into the 80s, and then I think the 90s, there's like like for instance with rap music, like early 90s, mid 90s, like late 90s, like I guess the whole 90s. I guess the whole 90s. I was
The early
thinking
90s,
about-
the mid 90s, the late
Okay.
mid 90s.
I have
But I guess I was just really quick. I
Yeah.
just sorry. I don't mean to hog this, but I wanted to make my point.
Say it.
I was just thinking about how further ahead. Like, okay, I would say early 2000s. There's a huge shift to pop music.
yes.
That's very like candy-esque, where it's like, this is delicious, and then you just forget about it and you move on to the next song. Where he's like, I feel like songs just have a lot more meaning. They used to be a lot more, make you feel a little bit different. I don't know, like we listen to songs all the time.
Personable.
Like now or before?
Before.
Yeah, before was about like deep emotion, and now it's like, I go out and party. Like that's all I hear at work, on the radio, or just songs about partying. It's like exhausting.
Though to be fair, that's what's thrown at you in your environment.
Yeah.
Whereas I actively will go and find a song about I'm sad, I'm suffering under the weight of this exact thing, and I would like to leave. And that is like one specific song that'll hit me so goddamn hard.
Okay.
But that was a song I had to like go and find.
I have two things from
look for.
chat. One was, and I hate saying your username, I'm sorry, but erect for Ryan's mom in the comment about music made with instruments has more soul than music made with electronics. I agree.
Ultimately, that depends on the artist, doesn't it?
Yes, I do agree with that for the most part, because it does take a lot of skill to play an instrument and be proficient with it. But also the same thing with electronics. It takes a lot. Like, people shit on DJs and electronic artists, and I do sometimes too, because like there's just so many of them, and some of them are really shitty. But it does take a lot to make a good quality track anymore.
You're
But
saying that it takes a lot to make a good electronic track?
yes, it can. I mean, there's also a lot of things where, like, if you're just using presets and shit like that, yeah, you can make it sound great in like a couple seconds, but there's no originality to it unless
There's
you
also
add your
just
own
thing
thing.
of the more complex you have something,
Yes.
the harder it is to master.
That too.
If I'm
It
just
ha-
sitting here with 6 strings and this is what I've dedicated myself to, I could probably make something very fucking masterful.
Yeah.
That's on folks.
Ooh.
It's hard to make.
Interesting.
As opposed to I have the wide fucking thing of this sound library.
Oh.
of
Well,
which I'm
it's
gonna
hard to make
projects.
something like purely electronic with a soul. Like it
Yes.
has no. It doesn't have that element.
You
Yeah.
know what? Sorry, I actually just had a thought about. I think most good music now is congregated in film scores.
Yeah,
I could agree with
Like,
that.
because
That
it conveys. It's conveying emotion.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Pure
intent
emotion
there is
without
you are
words.
going to try and evoke something.
Yeah.
Connecting purely through like vibrance on what?
So okay, I want to bring up something that April said before, but how does one decide what is good and what is bad in music based on the message that they convey? What is a standard? I think that's in terms of like overall quality of the song, how it sounds, but I also think that the message also kind of helps. I don't think you have to necessarily have a message in a song for it to be good. Like you can have a song that has zero meaning behind it and it still be good.
Can you name a song like that?
All that my mind's coming to is like a lot of instrumental EDM stuff.
I'm not gonna
What-
lie.
what-
There
what-
is a song called "Airport Lounge" by Kevin MacLeod that is just a public domain like elevator fucking music. I unironically love it.
But don't you like that music because of the way it makes you feel, though?
Yeah, though
It
to be
might
fair,
not-
the reason I love it is because I've subscribed an emotion to the song.
Yeah.
It's meant to be
But
just
doesn't
a
it-
neutral sounding thing,
Isn't
but
the-
I've bonded to it through dumb bullshit, which I've had it playing, so it now takes a very special place in my heart.
But I feel like music is more about the rhythm and the patterns, so that we find comfort in the rhythm and patterns, and that depending on the rhythm and pattern, it can actually influence our emotions. I thought the music was making the impression on us, not the other way around.
Well, it's always going to be a
Most
two-way
time.
relationship.
Yeah, you can have your own opinion what a certain song's message is, but I mean, everyone's gonna have their different. I feel like
Because I've gone back and like listened to songs that I like hated or disliked, but since I now come back with a different perspective, I can now appreciate it more and will actually go, you know what? Yeah, I kind of like this now.
I'm pretty sure
Like
Dave
I can
Grohl
change
at one
like,
point has made comments about the fact that like their song "The Pretender" has no actual like meaning or anything behind it, and he'd rather have audience like listen to it and bring like have their own like opinion on like what the message is. April also brought a point that I feel like Ryan would agree with. She made the comment that she went to the Weeknd concert and the opener was a DJ where all the songs sounded the same. Well, I'm thinking we went to see Magic Sword and the opening act was like,
Oh, the sound chick.
Dude, this guy, he just kept playing the same. I'm like, all right, is the song ending?
Yeah.
Or
I mean, honestly, I feel like with EDM music, it's very easy to have a song that's just drown out because they
this
can
is
just do
the
that.
the problem I had with that.
Is there
With
a
that
cat down
concert,
there?
huh?
Is there a cat down there?
I can't tell.
Here-
Oh,
Here's a question.
oh no,
Here's a
they're both
question.
over there sleeping.
Real quick,
Oh, sorry.
I the one problem I had with that concert is like the music. It was when I listened to that music, I'm usually in the car and I'm just like bopping my head. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's not like you're like really going at it. It's nothing like too crazy. That concert kind of just was like, meh.
Yeah.
I felt like I could have just sat down in a chair.
Show the cats. Well, currently they're both sleeping. You can kind of see one back here on the chair. I can't point. It's like over here somewhere.
Am I,
Now
am
now
I
you're
moving
covering
out of
it.
the way or in the way?
In the way. Yeah, they're kind of. You can kind of see the one's butt, and then the other one is sitting up in the cat tower. They're just chilling. Thank God.
So, what
So
did you want to
obviously,
say?
Josh, you need to highlight them on post, just big rectangle around them.
Zoom in.
So, what was your question?
I guess a way you could measure, or I guess it's not really a question. I guess a way you could measure whether a song is good or bad is if it survived. Because if it's surviving,
Withstand the test of time.
I know a song
What
that
is
gets
so-
on everybody's nerves. Everybody's nerves. Everybody's nerves.
I don't know who this is either. I don't know who this is. Remy, you can fucking control them. God damn.
What did they say?
Hi, chat person. What are you
So
doing?
April was like, "Show us the cats. We want the cats." And then he goes in Ryan's mom, and she's like, "Who the fuck is this?"
I can't tell.
You will need a different stream
Well-
for that one, friend.
Doesn't erect for Riot's mom sound like something Dustin would do?
No.
Because he did the
Yeah.
erect for your ma account.
You think he'd do that
I don't
as
know.
a father?
I mean,
Wait, Ryan, who's the one coworker you were talking about that you would fuck their mom? Is this Vengeance?
Maybe. I think so.
That's what I was thinking,
I
too.
think it could be like Jacob or Trenton.
Also, speaking of cats, I didn't say it on here yet. I
Do they make
recently
good music, Josh?
I've recently been kind of thinking to myself, I kind of want to get my own cat soon because having my roommate's cats here, it's like, yeah, it's nice, but I kind of want my own cat. And it just so happened that the lady we got one of my other cats from actually, oh Jesus, actually has 2 more cats that are technically that cat's like niece and nephew. And I'm getting them on Sunday. I'm gonna have 2 little black cats running around this house, and it's gonna be interesting. And Ryan's gonna deal with it, having 4 cats in this house.
Dude, I've never had animals at my house ever before. So, going from 0 to 10 is going to be very interesting.
It's not really 0 to 10. It's cats, dude. Calm down.
It'll be fine.
Like if it was hyper dogs, that'd be something, man.
Yeah.
But it's cats. They're
Cats
gonna
you
bug
can't
you
ignore.
if they want you, and they're just gonna leave you alone otherwise. And
Look,
they're gonna expect.
shut your door at night. They won't bug you.
Yeah. That does get irritating if they paw at your door a lot. It's like,
Oh, Ren does it all the time. It's hilarious.
oh my god,
Well,
I'd be throwing shit at
He
him.
doesn't bug me that much. Like he'll like meow at my door sometimes, and he'll leave. I'm like, oh, thank God. But in the morning when I wake up, he's at my door fucking meowing. I'm like, God damn you! Give me 2 seconds, please.
Do you feel bullied, Josh?
No.
Do you think you should have a license to have an animal? Do you think you should have to pass like a psychological evaluation?
Yes.
Yes.
I
Actually.
think there should be
Really?
categories of animals. For like common household pets, like traditional dogs, cats, of up to a certain size, I think those are free reign. But once you get to like the massive breeds of dogs or like the exotic bullshit animals like peacocks and stuff, that should require a license.
Horses should also be.
I think those require like certificate.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What a change in topics.
Oh, I
April, why do I feel like you're just needling for a definition of good music so you can shit on
No,
Alex's music
that's
preference?
that's not what she asked. She said, "What do you guys think of our political climate? What would it take for our government to fall and turn into a dictatorship? And do you think it could happen in our lifetime?"
Oh my God.
Surprisingly little.
Right? God,
All
I
it
hope
requires is
not.
good people to do nothing. Short
What
answer.
do we think?
Let's see. What would it take to create a dictatorship?
I mean, hypothetically, all you would need to do is have one party just really hell-bent on just stopping a lot of progress in its tracks so that people then get frustrated. And you can use that lack of progress as your platform and somehow brainwash your constituents into believing your bullshit and to blame the other party for the lack of progress.
This
You then
sounds.
use this hate and fear-mongering to elevate yourself into a position of power in which you control a lot more long-reaching organizations. Hypothetically, I mean.
Do you
Obviously,
think-
it'd be silly if that kind of thing
Jesus
came to pass.
Christ.
Well, I think a combination of things are happening where, on one hand, our government system is showing its age, where we have long-term problems that we can't solve because congressmen are obsessed with getting reelected on 2- and 6-year terms.
Mhm.
So rather than have a long-term solution, it's what have you done for me lately? So it's all short-term solutions. So you've got big
Because
problems.
that's all you have to deal with now.
Yeah.
Because anything longer than about 10 minutes is you can immediately overshadow with what's new on my wonderful little news machine.
Exactly. And so I think there's a lot of frustration with that, but then there's also an unwillingness to change the political structure because there's a fear of the unknown. And then I also think that our political system has developed itself into basically a system that incentivizes radicalization, where like rather than finding a common ground, you just dig in, and then social media is exacerbating that tenfold, a
This actually came
hundredfold.
up the other day. Hey, Alex, do you know our national anthem by heart? Mostly by heart. Like, are you familiar with it?
I mean, yeah, I guess I don't really think about it though.
That is not all that common, I found, outside the United States.
Wait,
Oh,
what?
like so.
The fact that at one point during most of our lives, we probably had a music class in which you got a credit or an assignment that was to memorize our fucking nation's song. That's just kind of ingrained into you at an early age.
Yeah, I mean, states do promote nationalism, though, like within their school systems to reproduce the system. I mean, Japan, for instance, if you go to Japan, they will insist, many Japanese will insist that the United States started World War II with them when we started an oil, we gave an oil embargo. Which
She asked, "Do you guys not know it?" I don't know the lyrics by heart anymore. I mean, obviously, you and I, Alex, were in marching band for 4 years in not college, high school, so we kind of had to know it.
Can you still play it on the clarinet?
Hell no.
I know like the way it sounds. I just don't know the
Yeah.
words verbatim.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if I really thought about it,
It's like I
could
can hum it.
Go to any sports ball game.
Right. Yeah.
Everyone, please rise.
I tune out after they say "put your hands on your hearts." It's just like white noise for me. It's like do do do.
Veterans take up your blah, blah, blah.
Jesus Christ.
Ryan
Ryan.
puts on his ball cap. Yeah.
We will end in a dictatorship because of this. I don't know about that.
We could hit a dictatorship.
I
we
feel
probably
like
won't stay
as
there.
sarcastic as your answer like was toned. I mean, you pretty much hit us on the nail the head on. I mean,
It
we're
is
really
a
going that way.
case of all it takes is a group of people with a mindset of hoarding and gaining power.
If people actually took like becoming a like starting a revolution or something serious, like with what? Who were the people that did that?
Oh, the January 6th shit?
No, the one the in Washington or whatever.
Yeah, the January 6th stuff.
When they
Yeah.
stormed
the
Capitol?
insurrection,
Yeah.
Ryan.
The actual insurrection where
The
like,
actual
they called?
storming of the Capitol, the thing that no foreign army has been able to do since ever.
Wait, this
Sorry,
Well,
since like the
this-
Civil War.
no, a War of 1812.
Wait,
That's
this
what it was.
this
No,
year?
even further
No,
back.
last year.
Oh yeah. What do they call it? They were like a really big like leftist group, right?
No,
Oh,
no, no,
the
they
the
were
Proud
right-wing.
Boys or whatever.
They were
Oh
right-wing.
no, I'm
Yeah.
talking about the other one.
Are you talking about
Were
when they
they-
took over Seattle?
Yes,
Yeah, that was crazy.
Wait,
that was
what?
I think it was Antifa. And
Antifa. Yeah, yeah.
that was Antifa.
Oh.
Yeah, so
That's
we've had,
the one.
Okay, so we've
Oh.
had two separate instances on both sides of the political spectrum where territory has been occupied by an extremist group, and really, in both instances, I mean, January 6th, there's been some
There is
prosecution.
nothing
I haven't heard
scarier than a
anything-
group of people utterly convinced that they are in the right.
Yeah,
Terrifying.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You're, as soon as you unify yourself behind a concept, people are pretty much unstoppable.
Yeah,
And
mob
in the
mentality is
worst way.
utterly terrifying.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much.
Oh, to be so
Yeah.
sure that you're right all the time, and that if anyone is undermining
Hey.
you, it's
Hey,
their-
the
it's
fact
that
that-
guy. Yeah, it's that guy. Yeah.
Kick his ass. Why are we kicking his ass? His team scored better than ours.
yeah. Oh, dude.
All I can think of with that comment is the amount of times I've heard of like sports teams and fans like going nuts over like their one team losing or whatever and just causing havoc. I feel like that happens a lot more often than it really should.
As a passive motherfucker, I still cheer if someone throws a fist in hockey. It's something you get drawn up into.
Yeah.
So, Josh, why don't you think we're gonna go into a dictatorship?
Oh, I never said I didn't think we would, but
Oh.
I mean I hope we don't see that in our lifetime. Is what I was saying that for.
Do you think there's hope for us not to?
Sadly, there's just a thing of, I think traditionalism might actually help us a little bit in that. Just because it'd be a bitch and a half to get people to agree to that statement.
Yeah, I don't know.
We
like,
may have to cycle through it, though. Good people are probably gonna die, and that's gonna suck. I live in fear of it.
I do actually.
There's a smile on my
Oh,
face,
think
but
we're
there's
gonna
like
hit a
legitimate
dictatorship?
dread inside.
I think we're gonna split off.
Because I'm an average guy. There's nothing I can do about it.
You can vote.
I
You
mean,
can
no,
go
like,
out, you
like
can
if it
yeah.
happens though. So January 6th, right? They storm the Capitol. They actually start hacking down Democratic senators, and there's actually like a government coup. And then Trump, like, you know, just wildest, universe where, you know, obviously it didn't happen, but Trump seizes the opportunity to take control of the government in an emergency and, like, takes emergency powers and then uses those powers to eliminate government opposition.
And then the
and then
unfortunate thing is
consolidates
he's
his
going to
position.
die very quickly
And
because
then-
he's an
well,
old-ass man that doesn't take
yeah,
care of his health.
but
So then he's
still,
going to be
That could
martyrized.
still happen. Julius Caesar took over the government, was murdered, and then because he had rearranged the government in his favor, it really only worked with one person in charge. So then the next person that led became dictator for life, and that was Augustus, and he ruled for 40 years.
Dude, you just describing what could happen in the United States does like it just makes it seem like wow, that's not that big of a chess move right there.
And
It's
then-
one of those things of it would be harder to do today just because we're dealing with stupid numbers of population.
Right. No, for sure.
Like with Caesar, it's a case of like, what is your ruling class? A couple dozen people?
Yeah, well, I guess on a
It
massive
wouldn't be
government
impossible
scale,
to
though,
do on our scale, obviously.
have-
It
we
would
have-
just be slower and shittier.
We'd have federal agents in every major city. Like, you could simply, in this state of emergency, require some kind of lockdown from cities or major population centers, and then if mayors and governors refuse to comply, use your emergency powers to then arrest them and try them in mock trials. Like, quickly, eliminate judges, rearrange the court systems to dominate. Like, it's not that hard to think. I mean, our infrastructure, our ability to communicate is also fast. It would not be that, like, within an hour, I think you could be able to, everyone would know what was happening in DC. In fact, actually, not within an hour, minute by minute, people can watch live the people protesting in DC. I mean, we basically, the Russian invasion of Ukraine, we basically watched that minute for minute as they moved in. Like, same thing would happen.
Yeah, when you see the live stream of just tweets just going, this is bullshit.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was fake on Twitter when I first saw it. I couldn't believe it. Could not believe the Ukraine thing. But
Well, fun thing I learned recently, since we pulled out of the International Surveillance Act, I forget exactly what it was. It was like a UN thing of basically free reign of like spy surveillance on any member that is a part of it. Just like, look, you can take a look and see we're not doing nefarious shit.
Oh.
Well, we
Okay.
pulled out of that under the Trump administration, and then Russia used our leaving of that agreement to then do the same, and then launch their assault about like the next month or two, I think. So that actually prevented us from getting even more at the moment surveillance and documentation of the invasion.
Here's a question for you, April. Do you think that we could ever have a third party in the U.S.? Because honestly, I kind of agree that like Republicans, Democrats, like neither side is really. They both have
The
their
Green
their
Party,
cons
they exist.
and
We don't care for them.
some pros, but I really just don't know if at
Dude,
this point a
what are you
third
talking
party
about?
would work.
Andrew Yang?
I was an Andrew Yang guy.
Me too.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of people like our age that were kind of with him. I
liked the nonpartisanship. I liked how relaxed he was. I really thought he would be nice.
know people's like, yeah, I agree 100%.
What?
What I mean, like, if we could ever have a third party.
You'd have to adopt like a bullshit. What's Canada's parliament system? It's like percentage of the vote. That's
Yeah.
how much the party gets
Yes.
or whatever.
That's
I
how
feel
many
we-
seats the party gets.
Yeah, we'd have to move to like that kind of system for that to work.
Ugh.
Otherwise, it's just a case of Democrat and
You just-
Republican parties have enough like fiscal power
Well,
to.
we keep, that's the problem. We keep in this dichotomy mainly because of money and advertising. Could you imagine if there was a third party, a moderate party? Like, I don't know.
Well, we had,
one
like,
time it
elections
gets
last week.
doesn't it have to
If
enter a
you
certain
didn't see
percentage?
the names written on the ballot and you had to go off memory, can you imagine how fucked people would be?
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't to get more funding, doesn't the Green Party have to get like a certain percentage? Like, is it like 15 or 20% or something? like that?
It's
I
mostly
don't know.
private donors. I mean, like, you get money from the government to run in elections. The president, for instance, there's a public fund that they can draw from that's like, I think, a few $1 million. But, dude, they spend tens of millions of dollars. Sometimes, like, they spend tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah, you get into stupid numbers
Yeah.
of I want to run one ad on one news station once a week.
Yep.
How many thousands of dollars does that already cost? And then you turn to like a Republican or Democratic thing who seems to be running them every 3 or 4 fucking minutes.
I'm tired of like the fact that we had to pick between, and I don't want to get too like aggressive. What?
Your table is.
Oh, sorry.
No, I mean.
Oh, you don't get to talk shit about table placement. You're like
No, I mean
snapping
your
like-
table legs. Like.
Oh, how do I?
Yeah, you have to.
Wow.
Wait, stop.
Let me move this out of the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
Behold the power of triangles.
Daddy. So anyway, I'm just tired of the fact that we had Biden and Trump last election, and then the election before that we had Biden and Hillary, and it was like,
Trump and
Hillary, or
Yeah.
Clinton, sorry. And it's like, why we have there are too many people that live in this country.
Give
that
me
are
Bill.
talented. Shut up. I'm just saying there are too many brilliant, smart, creative, forward-thinking people that live in this country for us to end up with 2 geezers like that, 2
Yeah.
elections in a row.
Yeah, I agree. April said these elections have sucked. Yeah, I feel like since we've been legally allowed to vote, these elections have sucked ass.
I'm gonna run.
It's like,
Good
who's
luck.
running? Oh, this person did a thing
Like,
in the 80s.
I keep saying at
Cool.
work, I'm like, The Rock and Oprah would totally dominate an election.
Yes.
And it'd be fucking dumb.
I know.
Every time it's case of like, oh, we really need charisma in this. It's like, no, that's really not what you want in politics. That's how you get cult leaders.
We need
No.
Jared Leto.
It's just frustrating to look back at our history and see
No,
these
Ryan.
incredible leaders that we've had. Even if their ideas might be dated today, like at their time, their time they were ahead of their time, and it's like now it's like everybody's just fighting and bickering and there's no forward thinking. Like,
Well, yeah,
Like, we
because
had-
it's not a case of like this is like the strongest candidate we've ever had, or blah blah blah,
Yeah.
or they scored this fucking proficient, blah blah blah. No, this is someone that did a job and was able to raise enough money behind their name to be put in a position.
how do you think we should have a series of tests that candidates have to take in order to qualify to be president?
I
Yes.
want the Miss America of political rallies.
What
I
if-
want just lineup of the best and brightest people, have them run through the nonsense issues.
Who runs the
If
fastest
you've ever
40?
seen any of those pageants, it's like, you there, incredibly beautiful woman. How do you think we can achieve peace in the Middle East in 60 seconds? Go. And
What
it's
if-
like, that's just a thing we have already.
But what if we
Bikinis
had?
required.
What if we threw out? Wait, what?
She said bikinis required.
What if we
No,
threw
not with a
out
bunch of old
voting
geezers.
That will cause things to change,
Hot-
Josh. People will
hot
vote
women.
against old man genitals and bikinis.
And
That is how you
Wait,
inspire
talk
real
Talk
change.
more into the mic.
oh, what if we threw out voting, and we replaced it with a series of tests, right? So like aptitude tests, psychological evaluations.
Pearson's
physical
would
tests.
dominate all. It would be hyper fucked.
What?
Pearson's the company that already makes
Oh.
most of our textbooks, every
They'd be
test.
mega rich. I'm just saying, like an agreed upon test that psychologists, like the top psychologists from around the country, agree upon. The top.
So a meritocracy is what
The-
you're describing.
Yes, exactly. And the people that score the highest are then put into a category, and then they have to write an essay arguing for a vision for the country that's peer reviewed, and then we as a public have access to all of this as it's happening, and we can form opinions based on that. I don't know how it'd work the public back into it.
See, that's
It'd be
Why do you
neat,
think you'd
but
be a
it
good
would-
president? I think you'd be cool.
yeah.
See,
Yeah, but
Get this guy in there.
I
He's
think-
a real one.
I think the biggest issue with that is that Americans are fucking stupid. I
That's
don't
the
think
whole
I don't think people would be able
That's
to
the
follow
whole
that
point.
enough.
Hang on, that's the whole point, though. You're no longer relying on a population that mostly ignores politics to vote. Instead, the problem would be agreeing upon standards and whatnot. But I mean, imagine, like, for instance, what if Biden, arguably, Biden and Trump have some kind of personality disorder or old age ailment, Like they have something going on, both of them. Like Trump with his constant lying, and then Biden with I don't know if you guys have seen videos of him shake hands with people that aren't there. It's kind of crazy. Like
I feel we could just wrap that up to they're old,
Yeah,
and that's like
exactly.
enough of a deterrent.
But what if we could see on paper, hey, like in a system that people probably be system people buying into, but
What if AI
Did Trump
was our
take
president?
a mental acuity test and brag about his results in like a second year president?
I don't remember that.
And they gave him shit for like the elephant thing or something. I remember headlines of him taking like a mental fortitude test and people laughing at him.
Wait a minute. My grandma once said she voted for Bill Clinton purely because he was good looking. That's
Correct. That is the
That's
bullshit
fucking
that we were
hilarious.
forced to deal with among your average population.
see, I
And I respect the right to that dipshit being able to make that choice.
I wish we could test
Apologies to
our
your
voters
grandmother.
before they're allowed to vote. That would create issues. I know. Yeah, I think that would create issues too, because like people already bitch enough about how like
So the moral of the story, educate your population, you say, so the growth continues to go up and up.
But does the population
wouldn't
really
that
want to
be
be
nice?
educated?
Yeah.
No one
No.
wants to be educated.
Then like it's like home ec when they were teaching kids how
I
to like
fucking
live.
loved home
Okay,
ec. You
okay.
suck a dick.
You were in like the other one person.
I liked home ec.
Okay, you were the other two people. I know.
I think
everyone,
Ryan's cookies sucked and he's bitter about it.
Look, they said I didn't put enough butter in.
We didn't make cookies. We made
Pillows.
Did you
one
guys
of
get the
those
pillows?
no-bakes. We made no bakes.
Oh.
All I'm
yeah.
saying is
don't
people
remember if I did
were
that or
taking
not.
those like life courses and no one paid attention. Like it's just like I don't know,
I did. I liked those classes.
like the baking and stuff.
Okay. Would you say you liked school?
No,
I liked.
we have talked about this multiple times on the podcast that Ryan did not like school and did not do the greatest in school.
And Ryan,
like,
how often do we have conversations in which, damn, I wish I had applied myself in school?
Well,
Yeah.
That was literally 2 hours ago on that porch.
I know, I know. I hate it, but I wish I applied myself
yeah, that's what
Why?
we say.
But why did you hate it so much?
because I had to try. It didn't come easy
Why didn't it come easy? What?
because
what,
I had to put in effort.
what
didn't
did you
wanna-
have to put effort into? I mean to say, like, what was so like challenging? What was the most
Nothing.
challenging part?
Actually, just doing the stuff.
I
So
feel so bad for the first
No, just
woman you ever
the
fingered.
drive to do it.
I, feel
I had no
so
drive
terribly
to
for
do
her.
any work.
Did you start the year out thinking like, yeah,
Yeah.
and then did you lose
Fade
motivation
off.
as it went on?
Yep. It was always like
Came in
I
day
always-
2 of kindergarten. I can addition the fuck out of things. Subtraction, I'm not sure about, but addition,
What
that's
do you
where it's
think
at.
would have changed that?
driving force at home. Well, my dad left during middle school. So there's no like, but then again, there's no real consistency. Like, all right, this is the day we're gonna like. When you get home, let's do our work. Like, no one did their work at home or brought it home, and like, all right, we're gonna do this at the table. Like, there was no specific time. There was no schedule set. There's no
My parents just asked me if I did my homework.
yeah, and I would lie.
Oh, I did lie.
Now, Ryan, I have
my
a question
parents were
for
like,
you.
"Did you show me?" And I was like,
Sometimes I get caught, but I
See,
and then I'd keep old homework and then show them.
my thing was like doing schoolwork and stuff like that, like homework and whatnot. I always hated like trying to ask my parents for help because it's the whole thing of like, what the fuck is this? This is completely different than what they were taught in school and once. So they didn't know how to help me really, and so that kind of led me to how I am now. With like, I absolutely hate asking for help with shit because it's like, I don't like
This
doing
is
that.
gonna be disappointing. It's awkward to ask, and I
Yeah.
don't want to engage in it to begin with.
Yeah,
I'm not
honestly,
gonna get-
at this point in my life,
absolute
I hate
results.
asking for help for stuff because I'm like, especially if it's something I should know or I kind of know, it's like, I should know this better. I shouldn't have to ask. And I remember in one of my, I think it was an After Effects class in college, there was this kid in my class who he would consistently ask our professor for help on stuff for like what to do. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you just asking for him for what to do next when like there are other students in here who also kind of need the help? And like, usually if I need help in that class, I'd be like, okay, I have this done. what am I missing? If I had it done wrong, or animated wrong, like what am I missing or whatever. Whereas this dude's like, all right, I got this done. What do I do next? It's like, what the fuck? Like, figure it out yourself before, like, actually try it and work on it before you ask for help. Like, I at least would try stuff and make sure that, like, it got to a point where I could not figure out what to do next. And then I would ask, like, hey, what do I do now? Especially in that kind of stuff, like video editing and anything.
You were annoyed about how they learned or their utilization of your teacher as a resource.
It was kind of both, but it was more the fact that, like, he would
it have
consistently...
pissed you off if instead of the teacher, if you went to like a teacher's aide every single time?
That wouldn't
But
bug
if
me as much.
you didn't have to directly deal with like the resource you draw upon wasn't being utilized?
Wait, what?
What I'm
sorry.
getting at is if you had more resources for more students to make use of, you would not have given a shit about that student.
Oh, yeah, if there was more, like, TAs or something, it probably would be an issue, but it was a small class anyways. And it was one of those things where, like, you know, our professor would kind of be like, you know, try and figure stuff out before you ask for help or whatever. And it's not like he couldn't ask for other students' help either. Like, it was a small enough class where he could have asked someone next to him and say, hey, how do I do this or whatever. Like, I had that happen a couple times where someone would ask me, like, hey, how do I do this? What do I need to do or whatever. And I would help him if I knew what it was. I would try my best. But, like, if people who are just, like, straight up like, all right, how do I do this? Or where is this at? Or kind of thing like that.
Do
it
it
just kind
for
of
me.
annoys me.
Yeah.
Do it for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Motivation is always going to be the hardest goddamn thing to deal with because there were only like a handful of classes I felt during like my entire like school run in which I went, you know what? I fucking liked this class. I liked the teacher. I liked the way they taught things. For me, English class with Mr. Clark, loved it.
Yep.
I actually looked forward to going into his class.
Same.
I liked the people in it. They were smart. They were intelligent. They were at my speed. We discussed things I thought they were interesting. That sticks in my brain. I gave a shit about like reading stuff.
Yeah.
And then in college, my ALS class, it's like the one college class that I still think of and love just because my professor I gelled with.
Yeah.
I felt motivated in the classroom.
That's what I like about a lot of my classes in my major, a lot of my video production stuff. I loved because I felt like all the professors actually cared about what they taught and stuff like that. And even if you weren't in that major, they still like treated you as an equal. Whereas the people in the music department in that field, if you were in a major, you kind of were just like left to like go fuck yourself because you're not major, so you don't get priority, which really pissed me off in a lot of instances. It's like, why do you take, why, like, part of me understands why the majors took priority, but it's like, if you're an upperclassman and you're not taking, if you're not the priority and the underclassmen are, that's kind of bullshit because it's like, you're further ahead in your education and stuff like that. Like, you should be able to take these classes before the underclassmen.
Yeah, but the point I'm like getting to is if you could have that motivation throughout like your school career, it'd be fucking insane.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because if you can take like a child's ability to just take in information and keep that little bastard focused or driven, it is absolutely possible for them to be unstoppable with the amount of stuff that they can learn today.
Yeah.
I have to go. Thanks for having me on, guys.
It's been great having you, my dude.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, I appreciate the invite. I love doing this to you guys. All right, guys, have a great night, okay?
You
Yeah.
too, man. Drive safe.
Okay.
What?
Instead of, never mind. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's fine.
Just make sure you really
It's
square up, draw the fist back, and just like right into the microphone.
I could just throw the microphone.
Yep.
Please
Make sure
don't.
you yank the cable as you do.
Jesus
That's
Christ,
Josh's
please,
favorite.
Please don't. All right.
God damn it. That's a good segue into the send off, I guess.
Yeah, it's getting kind of late.
Yeah.
We started this a lot earlier.
gotta
than-
open 'em
or a lot
all.
later. Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, so you can bring some shit over then.
Yeah, I can.
Music.
Music.
Oh, God.
Quick, Ryan. Believe it.
I don't have anything right now.
You fucker. I also forgot. Josh, what have you been
We do
listening
this
to, buddy?
every time.
I had it written down. I don't know where the notice.
Oh God! All right, I have Gasoline and Faithless by Airborne Toxic Event. What Gods Are These by My Federation and Temporary Love by Half an Orange.
Very nice.
I have Head Over Heels, Tears from Fears.
Nice.
Hey,
I have did I already have Black by Pearl Jam? No, Alice in Chains. Wait, hang on, wait. Who is it? God damn it.
What year is it?
It's Pearl Jam, duh, yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay. That and
Again, we do this.
well, let's
every,
go. Let's go. Drown. Wait, no. Let's go. Down in a Hole by Alice in Chains. Wait, by Alice in Chains. Jesus,
Holy crap.
I'm tired. I've been up.
You're looking at the screen. How can you
I'm
be
not
fucking
because I need glasses. Okay. I'm losing my sight.
Should get that fixed soon.
Go
I
get
should
lasered
because
about
I'm
it.
losing my insurance.
Yeah, exactly. You have what? Less than a month.
Update your
Month?
prescriptions. Get your
I
shit
have.
checks.
Wait, what's the date today?
The August 10th.
I have a month and 8 days. Unless this is the 30th. And does this go to the 31st? The 30th.
31st.
Then I have 19 days. Wait, a month and 9 days.
Damn.
Get your prescriptions checked,
I
fucker.
know.
Update all of your shit. Go to the dentist.
He did that today.
I
Oh,
did. I got a twofer. I went to the doctor and the dentist.
Good job, buddy. Go
Yep.
get your balls checked. It's a thing to do.
Yep.
Anyways, my two songs. Life is Beautiful, the 2017 version by 6 a.m. And then I also have a song with no lyrics, but it makes me feel something. And that is Hellwalker by Mick Gordon off the Doom soundtrack.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I was assuming the elevator song you read all off.
I mean, we
earlier.
could throw Airport Lounge by Kevin MacLeod in there. Do, 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 do,
What is
do,
it called
do,
again?
do. Airport Lounge.
I'm going to put that on there. I don't know if it's actually on Spotify, but.
It is.
Okay.
I've checked.
Okay.
I've played it.
Fair enough.
Fun fact, the story behind that one. I had that as just my opening intro music for my D&D games. And my buddy came to despise it, which made me love it.
Sounds about right.
That
All
was
right.
the emotion I prescribed to it.
So, you guys can follow us on Twitter at Ticket30Pod, Facebook at Ticket30 Podcast. You can follow, sub to us on YouTube and watch our videos and whatnot at Ticket30 Podcast. Watch our stuff live if you're doing that today, and we appreciate that. You can do that on twitch.tv at Ticket30 Podcast. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, anywhere else you listen to podcasts, Bullhorn, Overcast, whatever it might be. And keep sharing, because we appreciate that. And we hit 149 followers,
Wow.
152 followers actually.
Holy shit.
So we appreciate that too, and hopefully
guys.
we have more than one or two chatters in the chat next time we stream. So thanks for that, anyways, for the follows.
Appreciate
And,
you guys.
That's
Thanks,
it.
everyone.
So
That's actually really cool of you people.
yeah.
I appreciate it.
What do you mean, you people?
Those non-talkers.
Yeah,
Those
you lurkers.
listeners.
Lurkers are always fine. We appreciate the lurkers.
Yeah.
It was an okay StarCraft unit.
All right. Well, it's been fun. Bye.
Goodbye.
Appreciate you.